During this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast, Shelley's going to mention her husband's music. We're actually going to be playing one of those songs at the end of the podcast, if you want to listen to that. It's Nolan Music on YouTube to check out more, and we'll have a link in the show notes. Enjoy the show.
Your lack of faith is disturbing.
Believe it.
What's going on, geeks? You're listening to episode 354 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name's Cody Armour. I'm here with Lj.Lowery.
Yo!
And Shelley Nollan.
Hello.
This week, we're geeking out about Microsoft making moves, Hollywood not making moves, and the Force making things move.
Wow.
Probably our dumbest highlight reel yet, but
It's fine. It's effective. It'll work.
Yes. I love it. Before we do that, we will get into the what we've been playing. Still chugging away at Tears of the Kingdom, but the quest line that I have now, I feel is very not spoilery. I'm going to tell you exactly where I am, and that is defeat Ganon.
Ooh.
So, I assume I'm close to the end.
Yeah. You got this. You
I
totally got
assume. But not quite there yet. Kind of excited to move on to a different game soon. But LJ, what have you been playing?
Oh yeah, I've still been playing Final Fantasy 16. I kind of got deterred from it this week. Just there was a couple days where I didn't play any video games at all.
Mm-hmm.
But that game is still going good. I'm gonna try and finish it before I go on my little vacation in less than 2 weeks here. We'll see how that goes. The things that I have been playing, I did beat Diablo 4 the other day with a buddy of mine. So that was fun. It was one of those games where we mindlessly played it and just caught up and just talked while we were playing it. I don't know that I'm going to keep playing it yet. It's a very mindless action game. They're super fun. There's the season thing is about to start pretty soon. And there's still plenty of in-game content I could do, but I'm like, I don't know. I got other things I can move on to. So
Yeah,
I enjoyed it though. Diablo 4 is fun. The other game I did start playing, just because I've been kind of into some of these narrative heavy games recently, is The Quarry, and that was made from Supermassive, who made the Dark Pictures games that I've been playing off and on, and then they made Until Dawn. That game is super fun. I like the story and kind of the angle they go with it. Not much. I've been kind of bouncing around, but Diablo 4 is probably the biggest thing, and I'm gonna try to finish Final Fantasy pretty quick here. I've still been making progress on that. Still enjoying that. So nothing too major over here. That's what I've been up to.
Cool. What about you, Shelley?
Yeah, I've been playing... Well, first I've been playing a little bit more Patch Quest, which I think I mentioned a long time ago. I've actually had it for a while now. I kind of just want to beat it. I want to get more games done this year on my backlog. And I finally, after being Final Fantasy 16, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm done with Tears of the Kingdom. I'm done with Final Fantasy 16. And I want
some big stuff, momentum.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I need to get some actual progress on my backlog, because I've been good about beating the games I've bought, or the new games, for the most part. Although I think I actually did buy Patch Quest this year, so I don't know, maybe that's not true.
Either way, I mean, you're tackling it and you're trying to finish it.
I'm trying, yes. But the problem with Patch Quest, it is fun. It is a fun game. It's annoying that it's only really getting more fun now after 10 hours. It's I have 10 hours in it total. And it's one of those things where it's such a small indie game that people don't really play. I don't really know anybody else who's playing it. So I finally looked up how you beat the game. Turns out there's a whole true ending and there's a normal ending. And I'm like, screw that. I'm just doing the normal ending. I usually go for true ending, but I'm kind of tired of this game, low-key. I just want to get it done. So I'm like, anything to roll credits, and if I can, if I want to come back and play a dude running, I can do that later if I want to. But it was really hard to find that information, for one, and two, I don't know how. I looked on howlongtobeat.com to see how long it takes to beat. And people are saying they're beating it in 10 hours. And I'm at like over 10 hours. And I'm like, seriously?
So you're like, wait.
And part of me is wondering, what I did notice, I think they released a new update just a couple days ago, like as I started playing, that added more features. So part of me is wondering, now I'm partaking in those new features. Basically, there's dungeons now. And I, thought dungeons were part of beating the game. No, they're not part of beating the game. So I've been doing these dungeons for basically no reason. Not no reason. You get like a treasure at the end of it that you can use, but it was kind of frustrating to me. I'm like, okay, cool. So I don't actually know how long it takes to beat this game because basically this website is probably inaccurate because I think people put in that information before that update came out. Or I am worse at this game than I thought, which could definitely be the case. And I already feel like I'm bad at this game. I'm not very good at bullet hells, and this one is one, right? There's just so many times I'll just get hit by something so tiny. Like, I can't keep track of everything on the screen.
Like a stray bullet somewhere.
You're shooting at one thing, you got yourself, and then there's something out in the corner that just hits you, and I'm just like, well, sorry, I'm not... I can't see that tiny little thing that just hit me, and then all of a sudden I'm dead. So, it is fun, and I am getting better, I think, and it is getting more fun. It's just, again, it's annoying that it took this long because now I'm at the point where I have enough areas explored, and they're not Pokemon. I don't remember what they're called, but they're basically the little monsters, little mounts that you get, that you basically collect them because it's also like a monster collector game. So, and I have enough of those that are good, that I kind of have like a set 5 that I like to go exploring with. 5 or 6, I forget how many you can have. I think it's 5. And, but yeah, it's just kind of frustrating where I'm kind of starting to have fun with the game, but I still want to beat it. And for the first like several hours of the game, I just felt like I was really bad. I don't know. It is a hard game. I think that's all it is. I think it's just a game that's harder than I'd like it to be. And I'm not very good at video games all the time. At least games like this I'm not very good at. So I think I can beat this game. In fact, I know I can. I will. It's just a matter of putting more time into it that I don't really want to put more time into. It sounds like that's such a negative review. But if you like bullet hells, and if you like monster collectors, if you like roguelikes, this is all 3 wrapped into one, which is why I got it. And it is a pretty new game. They're regularly putting out updates. Again, they just put out an update super recently that adds more content. So if any of that interests you, I'm pretty sure it's still pretty cheap. I know the sale just ended, but may put on your wish list for the next sale. I do recommend the game. If you like any... It's just the only thing is maybe if you like all of those things. I like 2 of those things, and it's enough for me to get me going, but the bullet hell is like the main gameplay aspect of it. So that's what I'm bad at. But if you're good at that, and you like the monster collecting aspect, which is fun, it is kind of cool, and then the fact that it is a roguelike, yeah, it's really neat. I've never played a game like this before. It's very unique. But I want it done because I want to get progress on all my backlog. I just look at my list and I get stressed out, so I want it done. The other game I'm playing is Breath of Fire 2, and my husband, I might have even mentioned last week, I don't quite remember, he's remastering all of the songs for Breath of Fire 2. He's getting me to play Breath of Fire 2, and so I'm working through it, and thankfully we have the fans translation sort of patch mod. So we are playing emulated, but there is also... It's also available on Nintendo Switch Online, which is great. But that is the original English translation, which apparently is super bad. Like, it's crazy. I literally looked up Breath of Fire 2 translation, and people are saying it's like one of the worst official translations in gaming history, which is crazy to me. But people are saying it's that bad. So... I'm using the fan translation, and it's great. It works really well, so I definitely recommend doing that if you can, if that is an option for you. I'm liking it so far. It is definitely an older JRPG, that's fair, but I have my husband with me who knows every way to go, everything to do. It's one of those games where it doesn't just tell you what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to kind of roam around until you figure out where you're supposed to go. You're kind of just supposed to run into it, so thankfully I can expedite that process. Because Daniel will just say, hey, go that way, hey, go that way. You're supposed to go here, you're supposed to do that, etc., etc. But yeah, it kind of makes me wish there was like, I don't know, lots of old games I'll play now. It's like, oh, I wish there was a remake of this. Not like every game needs a remake, but I think it would be, I don't know, people don't really talk about Breath of Fire. I know it's a whole series, and I mean, I've only ever played and playing Breath of Fire 2, but I know, again, it's a whole series, and it's kind of, I don't know when the last one came out, but I think it'd be cool if Capcom gave Breath of Fire some love. I think it'd be cool if they either remade maybe the original or re-released the originals, or I don't know, did something.
Final Fantasy VII way.
I know. It doesn't even have to be like that. It could just be a little bit up-res, a little bit quality of life. That's all. I don't know. I am enjoying it so far. The characters are really great, and the story's pretty good so far, which is why people like the game. The gameplay is a little rough, and that is the sort of weakest part. So I'm liking the things that people like. I'm not liking the things people don't like. So I'm having the average experience there. But anyway, that's what I've been playing.
Cool.
Nice.
We'll get into the gaming news then.
Yeah. So recently, the biggest thing, I don't necessarily have in the notes, but it's like everybody's talking about it. I guess Microsoft won. I don't know the proper legal terms of it, but the whole FTC thing about them trying to prevent Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. I guess the FTC lost that battle, and it sounds like Microsoft has the ability now to actually make the acquisition. Therefore, there have been some updates, especially since it happened. The biggest one being that Xbox and PlayStation have worked out a deal with for Call of Duty to remain on both Xbox and PlayStation for the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long time. That's the life of a console.
It is. It is a long time. So that's interesting. Like, and it's kind of wild too because, then there's been executives or heads of like Microsoft and stuff being like, oh yeah, like if we, there's people that have said, oh yeah, if we had our choice, there would be no exclusives. There'd be no, and I'm just like, well, this is what y'all are doing here. Like, this is what's happening. To be fair, Xbox does need more exclusives. So it's like, if that's how you want to go about it, sure, take other people's, I guess. That's kind of terrible, but, instead of making... they got their hands in, like, with Game Pass so much. Like, Game Pass has definitely been Xbox's biggest, like...
Big job.
Definitely. That's why people have Xboxes, and that's why I have an Xbox. It's my secondary console.
Mm-hmm.
Secondary, but... Yeah, so I think it's huge. That's really huge. There's going to be at some point in time where, we're only going to have Call of Duty on Xbox. I haven't played Call of Duty myself in a good few months. I was into it for a good little while. Modern Warfare 2
I haven't played it in like half a decade.
It's just Warzone and stuff.
But not
like
a
that.
full decade.
Oh.
Not the whole 10 years yet.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's easily their biggest game. And so that's interesting. Speaking of Game Pass, news is kind of light here this week. Speaking of Game Pass, today Microsoft announced that as far as up until September, Games with Gold is going to be lasting until about September. Games with Gold was their monthly game service thing they were using, and what they were requiring for to play online for a while too.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they even do anymore. I don't think it's required now. But that was, the games were getting kind of mediocre, and it just seemed like, where's, Game Pass is way better. Where's this going? And so they finally revealed that Games with Gold is now going to be Game Pass Core, which Game Pass Core is going to be the lowest tier. And it's actually kind of a tier that reminds me a lot of what PlayStation is doing right now.
Yeah, they have their kind of backlog.
Yeah, so it's kind of almost the reverse because PlayStation just got rid of that little collection that they had available when PS5 came out, and so Xbox is doing something similar. So Xbox has, I think, 25 games, which is actually not a lot if you consider what's on Game Pass now. So I think it's a few third-party titles, a few Microsoft and Bethesda titles and stuff like that. There's like a whole list on this article, this Twitter link that I have in the show notes. And so it's basically a small assortment, and then the next level up is, so this is going to be $9.99 a month, which I think is basically what the base Game Pass is now, probably. So those who are looking for, I don't know, maybe if you already have Game Pass, I don't know, but the baseline is going to be that core thing. Then you're going to have regular Game Pass. Then you're going to have Game Pass Ultimate, and I believe prices are rising a little bit with this new system, with this new format. I don't know the exact prices of what the other stuff is raising to. But yeah, and so like PlayStation's is, you get PlayStation Plus, which is they're still doing the free monthly game thing. Second tier is you get access to this almost Game Pass-like library. And then the third tier is you get access to like a lot of these older PS3, PSP titles, which a lot of them are like the PS3 games are all streamed. Like you have to stream them now, which is kind of dumb. Yeah. Xbox is probably still the better deal for a lot of people, but they are finally changing things up, which people were wondering how long Games with Gold was going to last, and this is it. So yeah, like I said before when I suggested the highlight title, Microsoft is making moves. So we'll have to see what happens with Activision titles and stuff like that end up on Game Pass and stuff too. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. We will get into the movies then. LJ, I think you're the only one that has watched a movie this week.
Tell us about it.
Go ahead.
Interesting. I watched an older movie.
Yeah.
I watched Pacific Rim again.
I think that's an old movie now.
It's 10 years old specifically.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. I saw that this week on some news article, and I'm like, wow, that movie's 10 years old. Like, let me go watch it.
Was the article
again.
talking about how, like, it was ignored, Hollywood has ignored that formula?
Yeah, because I think
I've seen that article, but I haven't read it yet.
Polygon had an article about it, and I know I saw a few others that were like, hey, remember this movie? It's 10 years old now. And I'm like, oh. And I do, like, it does feel like, it feels weird to say that, like, I don't know if it's just the quality of the version I was watching. It wasn't some, like, super 4K version. But I do feel like they definitely used, like, the water and, like, a lot of the settings where they fought in all the time was almost like a way of, like, oh, let's do it this way so that way we don't necessarily have to show the whole robot all the time, like, or, like...
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's a good method. I think it's a solid method. And I believe everybody, like, when everybody saw this, we're like, oh, well, let's get a Gundam movie now. And I really think it is an amazing, like, groundwork type of movie. Like, if you're gonna do a giant mech movie, this is definitely the movie you look at.
Heck yeah.
Nobody talks about Pacific Rim Uprising because that movie was just not very good. It was very meh.
But the anime was good.
I haven't seen the anime. I'll have to check
Anime's
that out.
pretty solid.
But yeah, like, I do think that, like, even seeing the headline of this article, I'm like, I do feel like Pacific Rim does deserve better. It is the closest, like, and it's a Guillermo del Toro movie. It is the closest to, like, an American, like, and, like, this feels like it was adapted from an anime that never happened, basically, right? So it's just like, so I'm just like, this is like, I'm like, this is it. This is how you do it, And
it's
like,
literally giant mechs versus kaiju.
Oh yeah, this is like the most.
It's so good.
It's the most American adaptation. Like, yeah, it's just.
My only problem with the movie at all was a piece of dialogue, and that was, for those who don't know, the robots take two people to make them, like, move.
Yes.
And Charlie Hunnam's character goes, "Let's do this together." And it's like they didn't have a choice.
That is anime.
They didn't. Yeah.
It's like you literally have to do it together.
Yes, they literally have to. No, it's good though. It's for what it is. Like, it's a fascinating piece of like, film. I think it's just one of those things that's like, somehow this ended up being decent, and it's like, I feel like in somebody else's hands it could have been really bad. I mean, it seems like Guillermo del Toro probably has some kind of love for, he does have a love for creatures, and so the kaiju were designed very well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I know he has. It seems like Guillermo del Toro is almost like Hideo Kojima in a way, where that dude has a lot of love for different things. It seems like, and like for games, comics, and whatever. But no, it was fascinating to watch again, and I do think Hollywood missed out on. Like, sure, they made another movie out of it, but it was like I don't think Guillermo del Toro or anybody was attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. I enjoyed it.
It has been long enough now. You could get that Gundam movie.
Oh, and Legendary is actually supposedly they are working on one.
Oh yeah, that's
so
right.
maybe some people were like, oh, Pacific Rim, it's like a Gundam movie now.
My thing, like, Gundam will be cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that name is like a big reason. There's just so many other like mech suit animes that I'd love to see like brought to live action besides Gundam. But I know they wouldn't do as well because the names wouldn't be there. I'm trying to think of the name of the one that I'm thinking of. Let me see if I got the right one. I'm thinking of Al Noah Zero, I think. Is that the one that I want?
I think so.
Al Noah Zero was really good.
So it's not up. It's not up yet, but I actually did. I recorded another daily Nerd Diva for Nerd of GUGcast last night, and I did it on Pacific Rim.
Cool.
About in like Philippines, putting the past behind you kind of a thing, and talking about and like how Pacific Rim has that whole theme of like, like having to having access to your brain and like having to relive some of those memories and stuff like that and stuff like that. So they haven't posted it yet, but I'll definitely like let people know when it's out. But I was like, you know what? Because they hit me up to do another one, and I was like, I just watched this movie, so let me do a little devotional on it. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that is all the movies that we've watched. Let us move on to the news and how we will never watch movies ever again.
Yeah, let's talk about that first. Actually, let's just get out of the way. I think everybody's heard.
It's the elephant in the room.
I think everybody's heard about the writer's strike. Writer's strike. We talked about a lot. It's been going on since I think May. It's been going on for a while, but we now have an actor's strike. That's sort of kind of joining in on the party a little bit. To sort of
cast of Oppenheimer walked out of their screening.
I did not hear that. That is
Yep. They straight up
crazy.
walked out. I didn't even know that was supposed to be happening. I think they kept it pretty quiet.
Yeah. Anyway, actors are mad, and it's not just like any old actors. It's big name actors. It's like main actors. I think I read through this article from LA Times, and I think it's because it's all union related, right? I think the only actors this isn't affecting are like it mentioned actors for commercials, actors for soap operas, and then of course actors for like super indie small projects.
Because it's a specific SAG-AFTRA is like a major like Screen Actors Guild. Yeah,
exactly. So, but this is like major, right? I mean, the writer's strike was already impacting everything, and the actor's strike is just going to be impacting even more things, right?
It was definitely in solidarity too. Like, they got their own stuff they're dealing with too, so they're like, you know what, let's go as well. Yeah,
and there's definitely a couple reasons.
There could be some huge changes within the industry.
Definitely. The article mentioned that last time something like this happened was 63 years ago. And
where they both went on strike.
Yeah, Hollywood has changed a lot since then. Things have changed like crazy since then. So that's kind of insane to think about. But yeah, obviously there's legitimate reasons they're striking, and as the writer strikes too, is just wanting to get paid more, needing to get paid more. Streaming services just don't make a lot of money, and so when these actors are relying on streaming services to do well to live, or to make money at least, totally makes sense that they're just not getting enough, that they're not happy with how they're treated, things like that. Things are also, it's like streaming services. I mean, obviously TV has been a thing for a long time. Shows have been a thing for a long time, but I think there's even more pressure now with some of these streaming services. Like I can think of like Disney Plus, like just to get things out the door really, really quickly, and to have like these super high budget things. So I don't know. There's that. There's also definitely the threat of AI. I mean, AI has been affecting everything.
The stuff I heard about that is crazy. Because the thing about that was, especially extras, they're like, oh, we can pay extras one day, get their likenesses, and just use them whenever.
Insane.
Yeah, I'm just like, that's scummy.
I just let AI do the rest for the rest of their life.
That is scummy.
They don't get any royalties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it is just... It's unethical, right? It's not even like I don't even think it's a talk. It's a point discussion. I think it's pretty unethical.
Surely, yeah.
And it's definitely messed up, and
I
it's
don't
scary.
know if it's necessarily that this is what Hollywood is wanting to do. It's just
it's an option.
It'll take its place
exactly
if there's not a process put in place.
Mm-hmm.
If there's not guidelines given. So I don't feel like they're not really asking for that much on the AI side of things. They're just looking for some
just protection and just some guidelines.
So that there is an ethics code to it, and that someone can't, go and
just use your likeness
like that, and then.
Mm-hmm. And I know, like, I don't follow. One, I haven't really been on Twitter much, but the small, just couple times I've gone on Twitter, I follow a lot of like voice actors for a lot of like anime or video games, and a lot of them have been posting like, "Hey, by the way, no AI is allowed to use my voice. It is not genuine, and if you want me to sing this song, don't go to AI, talk to me, and I'll just do it." Usually that's it. It's not even like an unwillingness to like actually do the thing. It's going to be better. But it's totally, I mean, that's so scary right now. Like
No, because there are AI voice work. There's AI videos of people's voices doing songs on TikTok right now too.
It's huge.
I've seen it on YouTube.
There's literally one of Mr. Krabs singing like Eminem's Godzilla, and it's just like...
There's a lot of SpongeBob AIs, and I will admit, I've watched a couple, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, they didn't get permission from the voice actor for this. Nope. Like they're and on one hand, I'm like, okay, at least it's for like a character. Maybe that's slightly better. No, I don't think it really is. But part of me is like, oh, maybe it's. But it's like it's a fun thing, but it's also like you're still stealing someone's voice without their permission. Yes. You're using someone's voice without your permission, and then we already had deep fakes, which is using people's faces
and start being robbery.
Yeah, yeah, it's And especially when you have stuff like things evolving. I don't know. AI is scary on a lot of levels.
I think of like Katsuminko, like Vocaloids. At what point does, those get better and better, so they start sounding more and more real? At what point is the voice like close enough or different enough to not be someone else's likeness?
Yeah.
Because all that is just like an octave change. And
AI
it's going to get really complicated soon.
AI is just so bad for creatives. Like writers.
Skynet, that's how you get Skynet.
Actors. I mean, we already talked about art, right? Just like visual design. Design in general. Like people are scummy and they're just going to want to like put a bunch of things into some sort of AI generator and create something rather than actually pay a person to create something that's actually going to be good. And that's like super scary. I mean, artists in general, including, and creatives in general, including writers and actors, unless you're like big name, right? You're not making a lot of money. That's not really an industry where you can make, unless you are famous, like literally famous, you're not making a lot of money in that industry. And so the fact that AI is coming in and making this even more scary and making their jobs less protected, that just makes things really creepy. It's scary. I don't know. I can't think of a different word. It's just scary to me because if there is a future in which AI becomes really, really big and artists are completely shoved out, if there's just no more artists, like, okay, you might as well say goodbye to humanity at that point. You know what I mean?
I do think it is important, at least from what I've been seeing, is that there have been people that have been saying, like, just because this is happening doesn't mean you can't go see a movie or like... Yeah. There's people that are like, no, we want you to support these movies because we worked on them and we want them to be seen.
We still want to get paid,
But yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like, they're like refusing to promote any of it. Like, I still like it would still be cool to see Barbie and Oppenheimer. Like they both
definitely
coming out this week. But then there's like the Haunted Mansion movie, which I kind of am low-key interested in. And then there's like Blue Beetle. Like I want that movie to succeed. That's coming out very soon. Like I'm gonna go see Blue Beetle for sure. Just because, but it's awkward.
They're striking. They're not asking us to strike their movies.
Yes.
They'll take care of it. And you know what? This is obviously all awful and bad, and I'm really hoping things turn out well for both writers and actors out of these strikes. But small silver lining is that even if we're not going to get a bunch of new content, I want things. I want Beyond Spider-Verse. I want the next season Stranger Things. Obviously, I'm like wanting those content.
That one is specifically getting delayed until for a very long time.
That one's rough.
At the end of the day, I feel like the Geeks Under Grace podcast is pro, humans over content.
Oh yeah.
Like
no way.
It's
almost like it's
back.
biblical or something. I don't know.
I mean, I will literally go back and talk about more old movies and shows. Like if
as much as we
that's what I mean. It's like
geeking out about stuff.
Yeah.
The people come first.
Yeah. It's like I have so much stuff in my backlog, both in everything, right? And everything we talk about, right? Games and movies and shows. Like
now is a good time to start watching One Piece.
Now's a good time to start watching One Piece. Hey, if y'all are worried about not having enough content in the next couple of years, literally just watch One Piece and or Critical Role. You will be set for that entire time. Like, I am not kidding. It takes so long to get through both of those. Like, that's what I mean, right? It's like we are not sore for content.
Exactly.
The one single concern I have is that if streaming services start to do poorly out of this, those companies can revoke any of that content.
They can.
Just immediately. Like, you don't own any of that content. You don't own any of those shows, any of those movies on there. So maybe it's time to buy physical. I just bought, on Prime Day, the complete box set of The Office.
Nice.
So now I'm like, cool, I own it, because I'm not about to freaking go to Peacock, dude.
I watched Pacific Rim on a DVD that I bought almost 10
there you
years
go.
ago.
It's like, we're circling back.
Like...
But yeah, I think that's the one kind of concern. Besides, actors and writers not getting what they need. I obviously care more about that. But I think I'm also slightly worried. As a consumer, I'm worried about stuff like Netflix and other streaming services just like shutting down. And then all of a sudden, those things are completely inaccessible because they're not being stored anywhere. And I don't know, archival-wise... makes me a little bit nervous. I want stuff archived. I want stuff to stay available.
It makes me happy with my massive movie collection that I have over here.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
I'm so glad I have this.
There you go. Exactly. Like it's streaming services are so convenient, but it's like, I mean, that's honestly low key a reason I don't go wanting Game Pass. Is just like that. It's like if there's just games that are just available, all of a sudden they could just be taken away at any second. That's what makes me nervous. I like game ownership.
Even buying digital, there are plenty of games they've taken off.
It's a little bit scary, yeah. You kind of just like, oh, it could just go away at any time. Like, you just don't... It's out of your control. It's scary, so...
I mean, I don't know if we talked about this, but even video game preservation. There was a stat
absolutely.
last week that apparently only 87%, apparently only 13% or something of video games are actually preserved and accessible today, and that's scary.
Wow. Yep, it's scary, and I'm like, hey, I want art and I want creations to be available to people, and I think for the most part, those people who are creating also want those things to be available.
Yeah.
Unless they specifically took it down, like the creator of Angry Bird, right? Unless they specifically took it down and make it accessible.
I randomly saw an article about that the other day too. That's so weird.
We should make it accessible, and we should be able to support the original creators if possible. I don't know. I could go on and on about this, but we got other movie news to talk about.
No, that's good.
If this movie ever comes out, depending on strikes, Superman Legacy so far has a cast. So we got as Superman, we got David Cornswet. He looks just like Henry Cavill. He just looks like discount Henry Cavill. It's a little bit upsetting to me. When I saw his picture, I thought, that's just Henry Cavill. And then I thought, oh no, they really just found Henry Cavill at home. We have Henry Cavill at home. Henry Cavill at home.
That's awesome.
There's also Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, sorry. Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern, which is pretty nuts.
That's a good one.
I'm excited about that one.
Yeah.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, we got Isabella Mercedes Hawkgirl. And if you don't recognize that name, she was Dora in Dora and the Lost City of Gold. So she was the live action Dora.
She's been in some other stuff since then, I think, but yeah.
That's just where I recognize her from.
Yeah.
We have Oh, I think she was also in Transformers movie. Cool.
Oh, okay.
Eddie Gathegi as Michael Holt, aka Mr. Terrific. And then we also have... He was in... yeah. He was in Twilight. He's the guy from Twilight. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, Anthony
one vampire.
Kerrigan.
He
It might
was
just be the picture that they're showing on the article itself, but he looks a little bit like War Machine. With like a...
Kind of, yeah.
Like a thin...
Oh, he was Darwin in X-Men First Class! Oh my gosh. I always got mad that character just kind of like got killed off. It made no sense to me. Whatever. And then we have...
Oh, yeah, he was in First Class.
Yeah, I mentioned Anthony Kerrigan as Metamorpha. So...
Which seems like excellent casting.
Yes.
Yes. I think all this cast is pretty cool.
The Superman Legacy stuff and other things have getting me real hyped for this movie. Like there's, like I'm just
And
so,
it's James Gunn, so like it's gonna be.
I'm so excited we're done with like the Snyder era Superman, like because it wasn't like Henry Cavill as Superman I had a problem with. It was this like, oh, we need to show like this flawed, almost godlike version of like Superman.
Exactly.
Like, no, that's not the point of Superman. He's a Boy
It's not
Scout.
even what Henry Cavill wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, let's go back to just like himbo Superman, which I'll be talking. I think all of us, or a couple of us, has saw the Superman show. So I'll talk about it then when we go in the TV. But definitely, right?
You watched it? Oh.
Yeah, My Adventures with Superman. I'll talk about it in a second.
It's
but,
so good.
It's back to... That's what I mean. We need to support himbo heartthrob Superman. Just let's get back to the basics, okay?
I love adventure. Oh, it's yeah.
We'll talk about it in a second. The last thing I want to mention after Superman Legacy is we have a trailer for teaser, really more so for Godzilla Minus One, which is a new Godzilla movie coming straight out of Japan, and it looks pretty intense. The whole idea of it, if you watch the trailer, is like it's Japan post-war already. The whole idea is that they've lost everything, right? Down to zero. But then Godzilla shows up. And so it's -1, right? It's like even worse than nothing. So that's pretty intense. Looks really cool though. I won't lie. Like it looks like a proper kaiju movie. It looks like there's this terrifying monster that is killing everyone.
The Earth is already flattened. I'm gonna flatten it more.
Yeah, it's just like, oh man, how can you? Yeah, it looks cool. It looks really cool. I hope it comes out over here.
Yes.
That's another thing I want to mention with all the strike stuff is I'd be really, really curious to see if there's going to be more movies, more shows coming out here that are just like international. Like because we're not seeing strikes internationally as far as I'm aware. I'm pretty sure it's just in Hollywood, just American Union. So I'd be curious about that. Anime's still going to keep chugging out. We're still going to get Spy X Family eventually. Is the only thing is, are we going to get the English voice actors? I don't know. We'll see. But eventually it'll come over.
Watch anime. Just
watch anime.
Yeah,
watch
just
anime.
watch anime.
Anime will never leave you. But that's our movie news. So we can talk about TV.
Cool. I have finished season 3 of My Hero Academia, and
Nice.
caught up on Secret Invasion.
Yes, I'm
that
caught
last
up as
episode
well.
Was very intense, very good. Yeah, I don't know what more we can say. It was probably the best. It was the most highly budgeted episode of the season thus far, for sure.
It's good. I like
lots going on. Big reveal that we all kind of knew was coming.
Was it episode
I
4?
think anyways.
What episode was it?
Episode 4, yes.
I saw this meme. Oh, well, it's not even a meme. I just saw this. Someone made a point somewhere that it's always episode 4 where things start to go down in a Marvel show.
Yeah.
It's always episode 4.
Yeah,
Things are
funny.
just like turned on its head a little bit. So
Yep.
it's kind of funny.
Yep.
Which makes sense because it's
That's
like halfway through the
definitely
show.
what happened. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I definitely just saw that coming by a lot. So I wasn't super surprised, but the action was good, and it's a fun story so far. I feel like they could have leaned more into Mission Impossible, like Two-Face type stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they haven't really done too much of that. Like this big reveal aside, I would have liked for it to be almost obnoxiously like who's who.
Yeah.
But so far, show's good. What about you, LJ? I know you watched Division 2.
I did. I like it. I don't know. I need to actually see what the whole reception is on this show, because I haven't really, like, I don't know that I've seen many people talk about it. You know, like, I really
can't imagine it's good, because it's definitely slow.
I enjoy it. Like, I don't really have anything negative to say about it. I've liked it.
It very much just exists for me. Like, I watch it, I'm like, cool. Like, I'm just
like, yes,
keeping up my Marvel stuff.
Right. Like, I would say so far it seems like, yes, it's just going to exist, and I don't think a lot of people are going to care. But I like it for what it is. I think I'm like, oh, this is actually unique and creative compared to, like, other things that they've made. So, yeah. Like, I gave it props for creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
What have you been watching?
Oh my gosh, I'm mostly excited that, like, I feel like I was gonna be alone in this, like, in watching. Like, I was like, I'm gonna be the only one.
No,
like,
I got you.
I'm gonna have nobody to talk to about Superman.
I got you,
like,
Superman.
This will be you and Shelley.
So
Yeah.
yes, so I was curious about this show because it's on Adult Swim, I think on like Saturdays or something, or I forget what day, and then it comes to Max the next day. So they started with 2 episodes and then premiered the 3rd one, I think, like this past weekend. It's good, and I went on Twitter or something right after I watched this show, and I'm like, this and Lois and Superman, or Superman and Lois, are like the freshest takes we've had on Superman in a long time. Because, like, just we've only known Snyder's for a while, or at least, like, for the general audience, right? Like, I mean, I'm sure there's some amazing Superman comics out there, which I heard of one recently that I'm going to check out now. It's so good. It's very, like, anime influenced. It's so funny because Superman has this, like, magical girl style, like, transformation. And it's so great. I love it.
I literally said that out loud. I was like, that was a magical girl transformation.
Yes.
And Daniel was like,
yes.
You mean like from Sailor Moon? I'm like, yes.
Yes. Yes. It's really fun. It's, yeah, I like it. It's basically puts everybody at a younger age. It is anime influenced, totally. Like, you can see that in its art style, and
it's basically an anime. There's one, the magical girl thing. The intro is an anime intro.
Yep, it is.
Just is. Okay?
Straight up.
Like, it follows all the rules. So I would argue. I mean, obviously,
I feel like this show could make people like Superman, because I know there's a lot of people that are just like, "Oh, I don't care for Superman." You know,
I mean,
like,
I didn't care for Superman. I watched it because I kept seeing. I kept seeing clips of it on YouTube. I don't know why. I just kept getting recommended clips, and I kept watching these clips, and I'm just like, this looks kind of good, because it's like the same animation, very, very similar to like Voltron, for example.
yes.
Which I love that. I don't know. Something about the animation makes me want to watch the show. You know what I mean? Like, something about good animation. I'm just like, I just want to watch the show after that. And I love how blatantly into each other Lois Lane and Clark Kent are. I think it's
from the get. It's from the get. Like,
literally from like first seeing each other. I think I actually love that, because I'm so tired of the will they won't they thing, and like there's a little bit of that so far, but it's really like they're like so into each other.
Yes,
and it's like there's no room for doubt, because obviously
it's painfully obvious.
They're canonical couple, right? Like, that's not a thing that they're trying to like
it's
change
like, y'all
up.
already know this is gonna happen, so let's just like
exactly. And I think they play off of that really well and have like these really cute, awesome interactions with each other. And I really like that. I mean, on one hand, it feels like maybe a little rushed, but again, like, I don't really care that much, because I just think it's fun. I think it's cool and kind of fresh. I don't know, you don't really get characters that are just immediately into each other anymore. They always have to build it up and take time, which, you know what? I love that too. I guess I just like seeing the diversity in relationship building.
Yes, it's also, because they're like, hey, we're not gonna like mess with y'all. Like, we're just gonna, y'all know this is.
We know where this is going. They don't need to. Yeah. It is a little bit of a Superman origin story, but it's done in such a way where they know the audience already knows who Superman is and knows who Lois Lane is. So that's pretty neat. It's just like, and I like the maturity level, because it's definitely like any age, right? Like, kids could watch it, adults could watch it.
They are younger themselves, but it's like it's so far it's a wholesome show. Like, just because it's on Adult Swim, like, I haven't seen anything that's like worth noting.
It's like Invincible, except not for mature audiences.
Yes.
It's like what Invincible was supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like, obviously the whole thing about Invincible is that is what it is. But if Invincible was the classic kind of like
first episode,
It's like the first episode of Invincible. That's a good point. It really is. But there's no like blood and gore or anything like that. And it makes Clark Kent, aka Superman, a real person. And that's what I care about. That's what I think is interesting. And
Makes
because
him a real relatable person.
he's a real relatable person, and he does just he sticks to his moral guns really hard as he's supposed to. Again, like me and Danny were talking about this when we were watching too, how we're like, at this point, the changing of the trope of trying to make Superman but edgy is kind of already tired out, which is kind of funny and ironic. They, the original trope was so established, and then now we got all this content of like, oh, but what if bad, right? The boys and things like that. And I guess Invincible too, but I still like that show a lot. Not necessarily a bad trope, it's just like a tired one. So it's actually really refreshing to just go back to like.
It's got so much energy. It's so vibrant. It's so positive compared
it
to
is.
That, like,
yeah.
Compared to that edgy grittiness that like they've been trying to feed us, like
exactly
over the past few years.
No, exactly. And obviously, I'm still gonna like watch Invincible, like 100%. I'm going to, but I like the balance here, and I like that. I just like that. This is Superman. Like he's a super strong guy. He's gonna save anybody he can. Like the very first, like one of the very first scenes, he's like off to go to like his job and he's like, I'm just a normal guy. I'm a normal guy doing normal guy things. He sees a cat stuck in a tree. He's like, okay. He goes, saves the cat. He's like, okay, besides from that,
it's not just
normal
a Superman
guy.
It's more like it's just natural to him.
It's just, that's his natural inclination is just to help people, and he could just use his powers for that. So if he's going to see a cat stuck in a tree, he's like, okay, guess I gotta go save the cat. He saves the cat, and then he goes off and does his job. And I'm like, this is what I want to see. I just want to see the like goody two shoes Superman. Again, I'm tired of like seeing the Injustice version
in a good way. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fun. I'm excited to see more. There's only 3 episodes so far. Obviously, there's lots of room for it to turn bad, but I don't think it will.
I fell in love with the first episode. I was like, this is so good.
It's just so fun. It is just like anime. Like it just feels like anime. Like the things that they do, some of the tropes, some of the animation style choices, and again the intro song. I'm just like, this is just anime. But anyway, it's a good show.
Well, we will get into the TV news. We got 2 trailers. One of them's kind of like we saw it coming. It's part 2 of Witcher's season 3. It was given a lot of scenes, a lot of what's going on. My wife, who's read the books, I think knows exactly what's happening. So that's interesting. But it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's such an end of an era. Talk about Henry Cavill.
Good transition.
Him being done. I don't know how excited I am past this season. For me, it feels very much like a series finale. We'll see. I think we got an Ahsoka trailer, the orange lightsabers that I don't understand. And the trailer looks good. I don't know anything about Rebels. I'll probably need to watch some kind of catch-up thing because I know that they're saying this is kind of like a capping of that show.
It totally is. Like, as much as I've seen of Rebels, like I stopped watching this trailer because I was worried about any spoilers because I'm in the last season of Rebels, and I'm like, I'm right there. So, I'm excited. I wasn't really before. I wasn't this close to finishing Rebels, but now I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm on board.
It might be that might make that show the latest in the timeline as far as shows.
Yeah,
I could, and besides, there's like a couple that I think there might be 1 or 2 that are like kid shows, especially that are in the post sequel era. I don't quite remember, but as far as like the in between era, well, I guess Andor
would be before this.
Okay, yeah. But just the fact that's post Rebels.
Andor would have been Rogue One, so you have 4, 5, and 6, and this would be after. Right?
I guess it's all in the same era, right?
This is like Mandalorian era.
Mandalorian era, which would be after 4, 5, and 6.
Oh yeah. Okay, my bad. I got mixed up. But yeah, it's because I'm pretty sure like for the longest time, Rebels was like the last in the chronological order.
It is
so now
funny
Ahsoka
to me
will be
that,
after
like,
that.
oh, like where were all these characters in 4, 5, and 6? Oh, because they weren't written yet. You know, kind of a thing. Like,
yeah.
So,
be interesting.
I'm excited. The orange lightsabers, I think they are emphasizing because I think this is the first time they're really gonna like showcase them. Because I tried looking.
Yeah, I was trying to read about it, and I wasn't getting many answers.
Yeah.
I saw that maybe they were in Legends.
Yes.
That anime thing that's not canon. So.
How
Well,
many,
Legends is what they label as pre-Disney era, before Disney
Yes.
wiped everything off the face of.
it was like the comics and stuff.
Yep.
That's also what that show's called, though, right? Star Wars Legends.
Visions is the name of the anime. Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
I'm getting it mixed up.
Yep.
I'm not a real Star Wars fan. I just like the Mandalorian and Obi-Wan.
And that's
was
it.
Really good. Yeah, and Andor.
And Rogue One.
I'm liking the shows, I guess. Boba Fett's the only thing I really don't like. The movies, though, I really don't.
You like Rogue One.
Except for Rogue One.
Yeah. Ironic,
fan.
but
my favorite thing is when Star Wars isn't Star Wars.
I'm a real fan because I enjoy watching episode 1. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Real fans would tell me, like, no, you're not.
Yeah. When Star Wars isn't Star Wars, then it's a lot of fun. When it's soap opera-esque political drama, I get bored. Made someone mad. We'll end the podcast now. Actually, are we geeking out about anything else this week? Shelley, I thought you had something.
Oh yeah, not that important, but I every once in a while I'm still kind of reading comics and things. So I have been reading through one. I read through as far as it is now. It's still the second sort of season / volume, if you will, is currently being released, I believe. But it's a comic called Animal Castle. And I never heard of it. I was just kind of scrolling through my app that I got through the library. That's kind of how I have it. And they had this one, and it's, I don't know, it looked interesting because it's based off of, it's not based off of Animal Farm, but it's like a, what's the term? It's not literally a sequel, but it's an inspired sequel.
Like a successor?
It's
like
kind of, yeah.
Successor kind of thing.
Basically, yeah. So it sort of takes the ideas of Animal Farm, obviously, which is a very classic novel, and it kind of like upscales it. It kind of like is making it to a whole thing, you know, Animal Farm being how animals start to create this like dictatorship, right? The pigs are ruling everybody, and now Animal Castles basically takes place in a world where there's a castle, it's been abandoned by humans, so it's just animals, and of course there's a dictatorship, and there's a president. And he's a bull, and he is kind of a tyrant, a little bit, ruling over all these other people. He has an army of dogs, and the main character is a cat, pretty much the only cat in this sort of little community that they have going. Most of the community is made up of there's ducks, geese, there's rabbits, there's like mules. A lot of just, farm animals, right? Stray animals and farm animals, right? Chickens, things like that. So, and the whole series is basically just sort of building up to a rebellion, sort of a revolution to sort of break away and call out this tyrant, call out this, they call him the president, right? He's a president, but he's just, basically a king, basically a dictator. Mm-hmm. And it's cool because, yeah, it really just, obviously is just taking Animal Farm and just going a step further of the what comes next once you have a dictatorship? The people need to rise up, and they need to, and how do they do that? And so it kind of examines that, and obviously it's taking a lot of real world inspiration as to when these things happen in real life, because obviously these things have happened in real life. So it's pretty interesting. The art's really nice. I like the art a lot. Yeah, I don't really know what more to say about it. If that sounds interesting to you, I would definitely recommend reading it. I liked Animal Farm a lot, so I definitely like Animal Castle. But yeah, it's cool because the main character, she's just a mom who wants the best for her kids, and then she ends up kind of leading this whole movement, which is pretty cool. So I like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Sounds cool. We will end the podcast there then. Shelley, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellshock24.
And LJ?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok at LJ the Paladin.
Cool. And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. I actually just posted our last hike. Nice. Doing a hike every month. It's super geeky.
Nice.
Super good. I've been posting it online. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Highly recommend. if you live anywhere where like you can hike within a few hours,
Hiking's so
go
good.
do a hike.
Hiking's huge up here.
Yeah.
PNW.
Mm-hmm. Well, we lived in Denver for years and we never really did it, and then now this last year I've been really getting into it. It's been a lot of fun.
Yay.
Probably couldn't do it more than once a month, but
I'm in Louisiana. That might feel like hiking in hell, depending on when you go.
That makes sense.
yeah, I mean that was we were ending the podcast, but I'll continue. So like this hike, I'm going to use quotations over it because we just went to a watering hole that you can literally drive up to.
Whoa.
And then they have a trail like up the watering hole, like up this kind of stream. And so I hiked up the stream and it was more of just a walk, and then jumped in the water as soon as we were ready. But yeah, so you got to find that kind of stuff in Louisiana, I guess. Gator free, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. That's at Cody Armour on Instagram. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Bye.
Peace.